Who am I? What is the purpose of life? What happens after death? On the last evening of my final semester, as one phase of life ends and another begins, these questions fill my mind. They've come up before, during good times, tough moments, and even in victories. But I always pushed them aside, telling myself I had other things to focus on. I knew finding answers could bring clarity and direction, but it felt overwhelming. So, I moved forward with my plans without giving these thoughts much attention. A few days later, while preparing for my flight to India, I was searching for something to watch during my flight. I came across the Essence of the Upanishads by Eknath Easwaran, a story about a young boy, Nachiketa, searching for answers to these same questions. It caught my interest, so I decided to read it. The book captures the wisdom of the Katha Upanishad precisely, and I only wish I had found it sooner. It doesn't give a direct path to self-realization or so-called Atman, but offers a map, something I'll explain later in this video. Let's start with knowing what these so-called Upanishads even are. They are ancient Indian literature on wisdom. They themselves are not philosophy, as they do not state opinions, expound theories, or dictate dogma. What they are is that they are the earliest records of perennial philosophy. This philosophy delves into the discovery that beneath our ever-changing phenomenal world, there lies a never-changing reality. Hence, Upanishads are not philosophy, but they record an experience of encounters with elements that belong to this ageless, infinite, and never-changing reality. In Sanskrit, these direct encounters are called darshana. In the book, these records of darshana are said to be records of a vision with no barrier between the observer and the observed into the unchanging reality. So, how does one describe something that is unchanging, ageless, and infinite? I mean, you can use breathtaking words to describe something as incredible as being on top of the world in the Himalayas, or the experience of driving a supercar, winning a lottery, or the experience of buying something big using your own money, but recording the experience of darshana. How does one even attempt it? In the book, the author quotes scholars like Blaise Pascal, Thomas Aquinas, and Mechthild of Magdeburg, who have attempted to describe this experience of darshana, but they have failed just like the people before and after them who have attempted this endeavor. Mechthild of Magdeburg writes, "Of the holy things that God has shown, I can speak no more than a single word. No more than a honeybee can carry away on its feet from an overflowing jar." But there are others like Ramkrishna Paramahamsa, Zhuangzhu, Jal Aldian Muhammad R.M., Torasa of Avila, and Adi Shankara who can easily understand these ecstatic statements. In fact, the word Upanishad came to mean secret because truly understanding these texts requires deep spiritual effort. This kind of practice takes long time and dedication, which not everyone is willing or able to commit to. This brings up an important question. How can ordinary people learn from these experiences when they are difficult to explain and seem unpredictable? Truly understanding the Upanishads is paradoxical, since one must experience one's own inner source. Grasping their meaning either requires personal practice or learning from those who have already followed this path, like Nachiketa in the Katha Upanishad. The protagonist of Katha Upanishad, Nachiketa, stands for you, me, and everyone who has this deep drive to get answers to these existential questions, and the Lord of Death, Yam, is the perfect guru, direct, challenging, and never wanting to mince words. He takes his student, Nachiketa, through the world of daily experiences obtained from the sense of perception, which forms our rational consciousness, to the final discovery, the core of personality, that Indian spirituality calls Atman. Rational consciousness, as we understand it, represents just one particular form of awareness, but separated only by the thinnest of barriers, there exist potential states of consciousness that are entirely distinct. A person may go through life without ever realizing their presence, but with the right stimulus, they can emerge instantly in their full depth and complexity. These alternate modes of consciousness have the power to shape perspectives, and they can provide structure while revealing new dimensions of reality. Accessing these deeper realms does not come from opening a door at some central point, but rather from shutting the door to ordinary perception. The journey of realizing our core self, called Atman, is essentially the process of integrating one's personality, which is also the true essence of yoga. This journey, which starts at a point and ends at a destination that requires time to traverse, will take us through distinct regions, each with unique landscapes, challenges, borders, checkpoints, and strict entry rules. Katha Upanishad maps out 5 such regions. The wonder of this unified realization is that, in the end, both we and the universe we inhabit become our home. In Katha Upanishad, we find foundational ideas and practices that are later expanded upon in the Bhagavad Gita. The very settings of both scriptures suggest their deeper connection. The Gita unfolds on a battlefield, while the Katha takes place in the shadowy realm of death. In both, an immortal teacher imparts wisdom to a human seeker, guiding them toward a higher way of living. The core questions they explore are timeless, questions that have been asked since the dawn of human thought. At the heart of both scriptures lies the concept of choice, the decisions we make, the actions we take, and those we refrain from. Both scriptures lay out different paths of life, reveal their consequences, and ultimately leave the choice in our hands. This approach is not just philosophical, but deeply practical, transforming life's problems into challenges and making the pursuit of wisdom an adventurous journey, one that demands courage, determination, and skill. The Katha Upanishad concludes with a quiet yet profound statement. Nachiketa successfully completed this journey and attained life's ultimate goal. He fully understood himself not merely as a separate physical being, but as inseparable from the eternal foundation of life itself. On what follows after this realization, the Katha remains silent. No figure exemplifies this better than the compassionate Buddha, who, though rooted in history, lived out the essence of Nachiketa's myth. His quest transcended death, and the legacy he left behind has endured for millennia. In his life, we witness what it truly means to go beyond death while still living. Thus, the final chapter of this book begins with his story, bringing the journey full circle, presenting the problem as it should be and, in the end, leaving the choice to us, if we so choose.